buddy. Garden upstairs? You garden upstairs? Okay, bye. Yeah. Form checks. I was like, okay, I'm going to try out this Epic Pen thing. And found another site to download it. And it's like, oh, okay, they got a free trial. Well, apparently you got to activate your frickin' free trial. Stupid piece. All right. Let's do this. There's a couple. B-Dupy. Doop. 52 seconds of I'm waiting for like the time where I do this and it's like somebody I actually recognize. It's like, oh, I played with you last week at doubles. What? Alright, we got the phone on the bag here. Oh boy. Why do I do this at like 5 a.m.? Okay, it's 6:30 now, but I've been up for 2.5 hours already. Why does the end of my finger hurt? Feels like I smashed the end of my finger, but I didn't. But it feels like it. Alright, we got a couple throws in here. That was a lot smoother. Alright. Let's work with this one here. Okay. We can't really see your feet, so we're going to have to do some guessing. That looks okay. I like this. You're just trying to be nice and simple with the feet. I like the tight X steps. Trying to work the disc out. See, I really wanted to use this. I wanted to up my game. We're gonna have to go back to the snip tool. So what happened here? What? Okay, maybe this. Yeah, that's. I don't. No. Okay. Oh, wait. Maybe it works now? Hooray! Alright. I have no idea how this thing works. Absolutely whatsoever. So, I'm guessing. Okay, we got. See, I meant to play with it beforehand, but that's fine. Let's look this over and talk it out here. Our audio could be a little bit higher. Let's bump the audio a slight bit. There we go. Okay. So nice and relaxed, nice and relaxed, nice and relaxed, nice and relaxed. You can see right here. You're trying to crush before you can crush. Can't do that. Now we're going to lead with the head and bunch up the shoulders. And there's the bunch up the shoulders. This is a lower body throw. A little bit of an air bounce. Can we see balance? Yeah, seriously, the biggest thing I can tell you, relax. Don't try to arm it. You're trying to get your shoulders into it, which is good. But in your whole face, everything. Let's just click things and see what it does. You're directing your head this way, and you're pulling your shoulder up this way, but you're pulling the disc down this way. Oh, we gotta. And watch the shoulder come up, and you're pulling the disc down. And there's nothing wrong with throwing from this particular area, but what I can also see here is it looks like you're trying to correct. So if we get, where's the clear button? Ink visible. Boop. We're gonna go right over here. This needs to be like a hotkey thing. That's fine. We'll make it work. All right. So I can tell right here your hips are already over rotated. I don't think, yeah, there we go. So your hips are pointed. Ooh, we got a line tool? I don't think it's going to let me do that yet because the website's down. Start free trial. No! Just let me use the line tool. Why? Okay, pen. Your hips are pointed this way. You're trying to throw this way. So you got to think about your hips have a really huge part and the direction the disc is going to come out on. So you need to stagger your feet out further. So you need to get your feet further staggered. All right. And what that's going to do is it's going to help set your hips up onto the target line a little bit better and relax your head. Let the disc come through. Keep your shoulders relaxed and let your body sling the disc through. That's the best advice I can really give right now for what you have going on and what I can see. SuperBone went overkill on posting multiple videos. Forehand, my only issue is generating spin consistently. Backhand, I can see that whoop-de-doo and the reach back is causing blah, blah, blah. Also, all right, let's see if his max golf distance is 380. If you're throwing 380 forehands with a nuke, you are throwing force flexes because it is hard to throw 400 with a forehand to begin with. But when you're going to get into like one of the absolutely most overstable discs made, one of the largest discs made, nuke is a 25 millimeter rim. They consider it a 13 speed. MVP's top dog stuff is a 14.5 with a 24.5 millimeter rim. Nuke's bigger. So nuke's technically a 15 speed. Just saying. Ignore that. I think I screwed some stuff up in there because that's not where my other turn is. I got some like bad info someplace. Yeah, that should probably be 20 millimeter. I don't remember what the deal was with that. Boop. All right, let's click some links here, see what he's got. Forehand Viking Loki. Yeah, I saw an Anheuser throw. Working on the little hop thing. That's something Danny talks about. Stomp. I think your plant is a little bit early. just a smidge. Let's look at... Oh, that's pretty flat. Like this, your hand comes out really good. Let's go. People will disagree with me. They can disagree with me all they want. Oakley is one of the best forehand throwers. And his backhand form is really weird because it's Eric, and that's part of his journey of playing disc golf is where that was developed from. But if you actually break down his form to see what he's actually doing, you're like, oh, that's actually really good. So, how to throw a hyzer flip. Crap. Of course, all of his stuff is going to be forehand. Grip. Shot selection.
Allows for everything to go into the disc. The more we can do or how to move your feet, I go with kind of a shuffle step.
Yeah, Eric has a little shuffle hop. Yeah, there's a little shuffle hop. Let's see here. So he's starting a little bit earlier. Oh my God, I never realized how freaking massive his calf muscles and stuff are. Eric runs every day now too. He is like super into being like fit and stuff like that, which is fine. Good night. I never actually broke down his forehand throw. I've just watched him do it in person multiple times. It's really awesome to do it with his discs out of his bag from me. Like, here, let me throw your felons. I want to learn what this is about. He's like, this one flies like this one flies like that. I put them all on top of each other. He's like, that was really good, dude. I'm like, thank you. If you've never had a chance to meet Eric Oakley, go meet Eric. He is an absolutely fantastic person. He does have a really intense personality, though, so some people can't get past it because he's very bright, personality-wise. Okay, so what we're looking at is right here. I want to say, see, he starts just before his plant. Good night. Okay. Let's back up here. Boop. Boop. Yep. I think you're starting a little late. This is the, you gotta get the stomp of the plant to come in and add the thump. And if you're thumping before you're throwing, it's, I don't want to sit here and try to find that thread. The downside with doing these like this is it's a lot harder to find the data and not spend a flipping hour on stuff. Your forehand's actually pretty clean, dude. I'd say start your throw a hair earlier. Because you're basically emulating Oakley, which is fantastic. But you can see here, here's your plant. And if we watch Oakley, well, there's his plant there. But he's just a hair in motion ahead of you. And you're throwing the same style. Good night. I wish I could throw forehands like this again. Forehands hurt my shoulders. I have a serviceable forehand. That is it now. All right, let's see what else we got here. I think you got three. I think you got a backhand one to me. Forehands are so much harder to do form checks on because forehands are very body dependent. And what I mean by that is how your wrist and forearm works. Not everybody's works the same. So your grip is huge. A lot of times fixing people's forehands is as simple as me changing their grip and nothing else, and their forehands fly better. And it's mainly because of the style of forehand throw that they're talking about. So like Scott talks about the serve the pizza thing. Well, it depends on your grip, and that's the part that he doesn't get into, is if your grip is a stacked grip like this, which is the grip I recommend. So I'm putting my pointer finger in, I'm stacking my finger over top of it. This is the grip that Paul throws. This is the grip that Simon throws. A lot of throwers throw like this. I don't know if Eric does or not. Now, if you watch Sarah Holcomb throw, she throws like this. So if you got like a serve the pizza style throw, and you're gripping like this, and you're serving the pizza and having problems, change your grip to this. Because when the disc comes through, you're serving the pizza. If you're gripping like this to get the wrist snap, which is what I recommend because you want this wrist joint to work, and you serve the pizza, or you roll the wrist, that ain't good. So, something to think about. Forehands are very grip dependent. You can get away with a lot of weird grip things on a backhand, but not on a forehand. Let's see if we got side view. I hate back views. Back views are not very good. Okay, there we go. Excellent, dude. Rock on. All right, what do we got? He's got him a place where he is deciding that he's going to throw. So we're starting out with a backwards X step. And we're going to do the up and over to a, what do they call this? The duck plant? Like for a basic throw, it's not terrible, but you are leaving 10 miles on the table. Okay, so the main issue is you're coming into the X step backwards. So you're already turned around before you even start the swing. So think about X step right here. Get the toe in. Oh, I got a little dry thing. Toe in here. Okay. I want it to work as like an overlay, but I'm asking a lot. Okay, we're gonna work on there. So since you've gone so wide, your hips have nowhere to go but backwards. So that's one of the reasons that a tight X step is recommended by a lot of coaches, is because it keeps you from preloading your hips. So if you load your hips before you're supposed to load your hips, you can't actually load your hips. All you can do at that point is throw your hips, because you're not rotating the spring and tightening it up. You're starting with a loose spring. So you're leading with your head here. You can see you're leading with your head. If your head starts to come over first, that's why people talk about, and it's not like a 100% necessary thing, but the way to teach it is to keep a neutral head. That way you're not leading with your head, because your body follows your head. So if you're trying to rotate around your spine and you keep your head neutral, your body's going to rotate better. If your head's like this, your body's going to follow the head. If you want to move an animal around, you grab it by the head. If you're wrestling, one of the reasons you're not allowed to grab headgear is because I can take your headgear and I can slam it into the mat and your body follows. That's why if I put my hands on the back of your head for a sprawl when you're taking a shoot, if you're strong enough, you can hold me up, but most likely I'm going to slam your face into the mat. But with the headgear thing, I can just drag you around. You can't do that with the that's a really weird analogy, but relax. It's something I struggle with too, because like it's a really hard thing to get out of your head, and you just got to think that you just want this nice, smooth rotation, because we're trying to use the pivots of our body, and the more we try to add the all this weird stuff in, we're throwing in variables that we can't replicate easily, because if all of a sudden we lean one more degree over, it throws the other rotation off, which compounds into like 20 different issues. So I think they call this the hug. I wouldn't say you're squishing the bug, but you're almost squishing the bug, because you're kind of rotating your knee in. If your foot was correct, it would work out different. And that's where I'd start you on, because you're just doing this big up and over throw from the heel. And you got like the good base mechanics going on. Let's see here. Let's look at this. Yeah, and then you're going to arm the disc. I can see you're going to arm the disc because you start out really good right here. I'd even consider getting this extension out further this way, just to get you set up. Let the rotation pull you in. I clicked the thing. Okay. Let the rotation pull you in, because so one of the things we need to look at is right here. So you're set up to throw here, and then you come way past that, and your spine finally straightens up. Then, and there's nothing wrong with, I can't say that the slide is wrong, but here you're not quite right. I'm being a little bit nitpicky, but I think a lot of your issues is coming from you trying to overcompensate your lack of ability to rotate your hips, which is probably why it looks like you're trying to squish the bug here, but it's because you're throwing your hips, because this foot is so open that you're overcompensating with throwing the hips. So I'm just going to keep it simple for you. Get your X step right here, man. Get that foot nice and square. That way, this next step, as soon as you step here, so your load should be coming from here. You're not loading. You're just throwing the hips around. Bam. Clean that up and relax. I know I tell everybody to relax their head, relax their shoulders. If you're trying to muscle and power through, the body cannot. You gotta let the body flow. You can't try to control every minute detail. Our body's not made for that. We're doing a huge athletic motion. We're not doing a precision motion. All right. Hopefully that helps. I don't know. This guy says thanks. Gibbonation sent me a message, and he was really happy. He did some grip changes, and oh, there it is. I don't obviously know what else he's changed, but all right, one of the chat support wants help. Support needs support. That's why I'm an administrator, not a support. All right, so number one issue here is you're throwing with the wrong hand. Dang lefties. All right. Camera angle is less than desirable. Let's see what we can get here. Let's watch it. Okay, we kind of got a little bit of a try to snap out, and all right, yeah, you're squishing the bug and throwing from the back foot. So this is a different angle of looking at like somebody trying to be tighter with their X step. And, wow, that's a good quality video. It's not slow motion, but it's 60 frames. This is what you want as a reviewer, like 60 frames a second, not slow motion. All right. So he's going to try to get a nice tight X step in, but he goes a little bit too far. So now that he's too far, the heel is going this direction. You want the heel going more this direction. So that keeps your toe. I try to plant my X step 90 to the target because I want to push directly from the toe into my plant from the get-go when I'm trying to throw with power. I'm not wanting to get into it late. Boop. There's probably hotkeys for that. I'll figure it out when I can finally get on the website, which doesn't work. Okay, so we're looking at that. He's not overloading his hips, though. That's the thing. But he's hunching back. So I can tell that you're not quite centered over your feet, which is bad. You want to try to be centered over your feet, and you're coming in on the heel. So you're trying all this effort to keep your weight forward, and then what you do is you come in like that. So think about this. When your reach back swing, because you're doing more of a reach back, when your back swing comes to the point right here, if you had your toe where it belongs, which would have been, wow, that's hard to draw when it's like that, but your toe would be back further back there, and your heel would be up here or right here. Okay, we're ignoring drawing tools right now because that is not working. When you're thinking about this right here, think about, because if you change your back step, your X step, and it's a little bit more controlled, and you get your balance more centered over yourself, I keep forgetting that I got a camera. When you get your balance more centered over your feet, and that back foot, well, you're left-handed, so your back foot is, instead of being like this, what happens when your foot's really open, you got to roll into the heel, then rotate in. If you're more square, you can keep your weight more on the toe and push into it a little bit more. And then when your front foot comes down, you're coming in like this. You want it to come in. That way we can... That's the whole point of like the standstill rocking, is feeling of getting that the heels up when we rock back and forth, and we're trying to emulate that with the X step. And fortunately, with a standstill, you can get really aggressive with it and plant like ridiculously hard from a standstill. I think that's how what's his name does it. Dude, and you can throw 450 with good form from a standstill. So just remember that. The idea of having to run around like James Conrad when you can barely throw a disc, not necessary. So we got that. Let's get your toe in, because what you're doing is you're just setting up, and see, I can see you pulling yourself over here. So because you're not centered over your feet, now you got to pull yourself up and over your body. The rest of it looks good, but if you were centered from, oh, okay, there we go. There's a problem. Yeah, your shoulder collapsed. Yeah, you're driving down with the elbow. From this position here, think about keeping that shoulder tight and keeping the elbow up. If you're trying to keep the elbow up and not trying to pull the disc, and you just think about starting to keep the elbow up and let this dingle arm, you're going to get that pocket in tighter to the chest, because you're coming in way back here, and so that's a collapsed shoulder. We want to be here or out. We don't want to be collapsed, because if we're here, we're straining muscles here and we're straining muscles here, and we don't want to strain those muscles. We want to set the muscles up in a position where they can add, not in a position where they have to catch us up. Yeah, it looks like that came out way late. You've got a lot of the right ideas though. So you're trying to keep your weight forward over your toes, which is good, but your plant kind of ruins it. Let's look over at your plant here. Because you come in and you're basically just stilting it up, and then you're kind of squishing the bug through versus letting your body carry your back leg through. So I had to learn this one more recently because I never really thought about it. Squish the bug is bad. It's something that was taught a long time in baseball, and it's the idea of what's the best way to explain this? There's actions and there's reactions in the body. So what happens is sometimes when people analyze things, they see a reaction, but they think it's the initial action. So in disc golf and in baseball, the swing, the squish the bug is a reaction. It's not an action. So some people will teach that you need to rotate the rear hip through to drive the body, when it's actually the body, the plant, the front plant being done properly will rotate the hips through and make the rear leg turn in. So if we watch here, he's going to plant, and then you can watch his rear heel, and he's going to drive his knee down in to drive his hips through. See? That's squish the bug. Well, if he planted properly and crushed the can, it would drive his hips around and get his weight up onto his front leg, because his weight is all on his back leg right now. Still on his back leg. And now he's transferring his weight late. So he doesn't even really get his weight into his brace until the disc has almost left his hands. So the power coming from the plant is being lost. So he's getting the 325 basically by arming the disc. So hopefully that helps. A lot of fixed footwork today. All right, 33 minutes. It's not like 10 hours long for once. All right, I'll have fun. It's light outside. And I need more coffee. And I got a big giant cookie downstairs. It's freaking fantastic.